Hello, it is V. I'm back with another tag. I love these tags. Again, I'm going to preface this. I'm on my iPad. I have to remember the camera's over here. So I know that's going to get crazy if I keep reminding you, but it's me reminding myself. All right, the tag I'm doing today is the Witch in Me tag. I saw this tag. This was created by Celina of Essence of the Moon, I believe. Yes, Essence of the Moon. And I saw it and I saw a couple different videos and I'm like, this is a really cool video, but I wasn't sure what's going to come out of it. So I figured, what the heck, I will try. So here I go with the tag, The Witch Within. So there's 10 questions and a tarot spread at the end. And I pulled the cards already. A little interesting, but I guess it makes sense. I did a little bit of research, but we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. So I have the questions here on my phone. And just before I start, if anybody you're just new to my channel, I am one of those people that's just a talking head. I just come on camera, I talk, I do not edit. I'm not gonna do fancy cinematography or camera angles. My lighting sucks all the time. Well, maybe not all the time, but a good chunk of the time it sucks. And yeah, I'm autistic and ADHD, and whatever comes out, comes out. So this is me being real. Anyway, here is my 10 questions for the Witch in Me tag created by Celina of Essence of the Moon. So the first question is, who was the first witch you recognized in yourself? I was thinking about this and I'm not too sure. I've always been a lover of rocks. But I was never like deep into crystals and stuff like that until I was a teenager and I got my first quartz. And I lost the quartz, but I still have the necklace that came in. It was in this gorgeous dragon, sterling silver dragon setting. I loved it so much. But I've always been a fan of crystals, and I've always been I've always connected with animals. So I would probably say that is where I first felt my connection to something bigger than myself, where I did see magic and things. So that would be where the first witch that I recognized in myself. Because there's a lot of people around me were very different. I was kind of all by myself in that, except for my family. We were with the animals. But that was it. I know my mom was big into herbs when we lived on the farm. But I was just kind of like, I guess the guinea pig. When we get sick, she'd create something or whatever, but I never really attributed it to anything other than just being connected to the land. So I didn't attribute that to being a witch or anything like that. But for me personally, it would be my love of rocks that came out as a teen, and my lifelong connection to animals. Number 2, how were witches in your ancestry or culture treated? Were they honored? Were they hidden or persecuted? I'm going to have to say I think they were hidden. Because I come from a long line of very, I wouldn't say super religious, but Christian family. My great-grandfather was a pastor, and in the, I think he was a Baptist, no, he was a Methodist. Yeah, he was a Methodist pastor, and my Uncle Bert was a Baptist pastor. So there was always this Christianity kind of going through my family, and I do not know how far that goes back, but my mother is or has been the genealogist of our family, and there has never been any records that I have seen or she has told me about that that signifies that there was witches in my ancestral line. So I'm going to say that they were hidden, or they hid themselves, because of the people in my family line. Number 3, do you believe you had past lives as a witch? If so, what era calls to you? Yes, yes, and yes. I don't think I have one specific era that calls to me, except for the fact that I am like a Rennie. So I used to go to the Ren Fair at least 2 to 3 times every season. And I love my corsets and my medieval garb, and I've had multiple family members that are involved with the SCA and all of that stuff. So I am connected to the Renaissance and medieval times. But I also feel like when I started looking into um, uh, just witchcraft in general and trying to learn a little bit more about this arena that I was stepping into, what always called to me was ancient Scots, like the Picts. Um, and so I have a Scottish witchcraft book that I'm not a reader. If you watch my videos, you know I try real hard, but I'm not a really good reader. But I do have lots of books that are unread or partially read, and one of them is a Scottish witchcraft book. And as I was reading that and I was getting into some of the history of Scottish witchcraft, I started feeling connected to that. But I have to say, I have an awful lot of Celtic energy in my family and in me as well. But as I look into expanding my knowledge of my kind of witchcraft that I want to lean into, I'm always drawn to ancient Scottish, like Picts. Um, so I need to explore that a little bit more, but um, maybe that was part of me. I do know that I am a little bit over 45% Scottish, and when I went to Scotland for my 40th birthday, I felt like I had just stepped onto my own home, like, country. Like, it was like I stepped on and I was home. So I'm assuming that I either ancient Scottish history, or Pictish history, or medieval history. Those are the ones that I feel drawn to. Um, all right. So, what tools, this is question 4, what tools, herbs, or herbs, as my British friends would say, what tools, herbs, or rituals feel like home to your craft? Candles, big time. And I talked about that in my fire um, video that was just posted. So definitely candles. As far as herbs, I've always been drawn to mint. I love mint. I've been drinking mint tea for years and years and years and years. I just love mint. So I need to explore that a little bit more. And as I started creating my own concoctions and stuff like that, I feel a connection to rosemary, not just as a tool that can be used in so many different ways, but like I really like, I mean, when I smell it, it just, I just, there's just something about rosemary. But those are probably the two that call to me the most. I do love, what are some of the ones that I love? Well, I have to say, when I planted a whole bunch of seeds a couple years ago, the one plant that just exploded everywhere were marigolds. So I've always loved marigolds, but they were just a really pretty flower that we planted every year. But the fact that they are just everywhere now, I mean, they literally just seeded themselves all over the place in the front of my house. Um, they're growing out of cracks in the stairs and the concrete. They're everywhere. So I have a feeling I'm probably going to be working with them because now I feel called to work for them because they worked. They called to me. Um, yeah. So that's probably it. I mean, I am, as far as rituals, I am a practical witch. I speak things um, into the ether. I guess that's the air element in me, but I speak things. I have these I call them "Hey Universe" statements, and I use them pretty much daily, and that is my main source of or has had been my main source of witchcraft when I was kind of on my gap year, taking care of my mom in her house. I was using them for everything, for parking spots, to make sure that my mom had one of those motorized carts at the grocery stores. And I would probably say 95% of the time, my Hey Universe statements work like that. So that's my biggest ritual. I'm trying to do others, but that's my biggest one. I just speak things. All right, so number 5. Have you ever been gatekept or told you weren't a real witch? How did you respond? No, I've never been gatekept. And if somebody tried to gatekeep me, I'd be like, yeah, see you, bye. It wouldn't affect me because other people's words, as far as how, I guess it's my, my PDA, my, ADHD. You tell me I can't do something, I'm just gonna do it more. And if you tell me I need to do something, I'm not gonna do it. So, um, I it, I would just I've never been gate kept, and if I did, I would just say yeah, whatever. See you. Bye. Okay, question number 6. Which archetype speaks to you most? The healer, the seer, the midwife, the hedge walker, or the death worker, etc. I would probably say my first is healer. I've always been drawn. That's where I went first when I started doing energy healing for animals. When I did the healing touch for animals, that was what drew me in. And then I became a Reiki master teacher, and then a coach, a spiritual coach. So yeah, the healer is my main archetype, but the death worker. I have transitioned more animals um than I ever thought I would. I mean, I'm like their facilitator into the next life. So I guess I'm a death doula for animals. So I would say healer first, death worker second, which sounds very counterintuitive. Counterintuitive, but yeah, healer first, death worker second. Um, all right. Question number 7: How do you balance fear, persecution, judgment with empowerment in calling yourself a witch? This is a hard one. Because I'm like imposter syndrome galore. That's me. Who am I to do this? You know, why would anybody listen to me? Those are the things that come through my head all the time. Um, as far as fear and for persecution and judgment, I just stay in the closet with some people. I just stay in the broom closet. Others, I, if I don't feel like I'm going to be severely judged, it just is what it is. I don't push it in anybody's face. I don't, I guess I kind of read the room. Um, and I won't say it if it's not meant to be said. There are people in my life that know who I am and what I'm about, but we don't talk about it. Um, and I also kind of think, you know, I honestly, I think everybody's a witch. It's just a matter of whether you craft or not. I truly believe that every human being that has ever existed, that is living today, that ever will live in the future, has access to magic. It doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you grew up in the church. I think prayer is magic. I think we're all witches. It's just a matter of how we craft and how we identify ourselves, if that makes any sense. Um, all right, question 8. Share a moment where magic revealed itself undeniably in your life. Oh gosh. I mean, it happens daily, but I would probably say I have always felt protected. Always. I have never doubted that I was being cared for from beyond the veil. Now, I didn't have a easy life. I wasn't protected from challenges or contrast, but I've always felt the comfort of being watched over. Um, so there's many times, one time most specifically, um, in 2007, I had a car accident and my car rolled about, I think it went one full roll and a quarter because I ended up on the driver's side door and ended up boom. Um, and it was almost like in that moment, it was like a let go, let God thing. All I did was I knew it was happening, and everything kind of lined up in this way where, um, first of all, I was swerving to not hit a squirrel, and the squirrel was not running across the road. The squirrel was in the middle of the road, and I had been having an extremely hard time with my mental health, with my physical health, and I was pushing myself to a point where um, I was always sick. I was always sick, and I was called into work because somebody got sick or something like that, and they asked if I could come in, and so I decided to oblige them. Left my voice lesson, started to drive. Boom, a squirrel. I swerve, overcorrect, had to overcorrect even more, and it just went boom, 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 boom. And next thing you know, my car is rolling down the road. And the second overcompensated the first time, I saw, I kind of felt how things were going. So I had my hands on the wheel, but then when I turned to the side, like the shoulder of the road, and I was looking at the hill in front of me, I just let go and did this, and I rolled, and um, I f- I felt protected. My girlfriend at the time, she goes, I thought your cat was there. I saw your cat helping you, and I would not doubt that because my cat passed away 2 weeks before that. Um, but it was like this surreal moment. I never lost consciousness. Yeah, I had blunt force trauma on my arm. I still have a problem with my collarbone. Sprained my ankle, sprained my wrist. Um, but I escaped unharmed. They had to blow out. Oh, and of course, within, literally, within like 2 minutes, there were people pulling me out of my car, and even the local news was there, It was the weirdest thing because the girl that I was working with, she actually saw my car on the highway. So she was watching, she saw me on TV. Um, it was like it was just this weird thing. Um, but that moment completely took my life from going this way, saying, nope, this way. It was so, that's probably, I mean, I've seen magic in my life almost my entire life. There's always been, I've always believed in fairies. I've always believed in all that stuff. Um, but I would say the most profound moment, and I'd had a couple accidents before that, but that moment completely transformed my life. And I knew that that was supposed to happen. That was the universe saying, okay, we got different plans for you. And everything lined up. So I would say that was um, where magic undeniably showed itself to me. All right, question number 9. Which tarot oracle card best represents the witch in you? This I don't know. I have always, I love the High Priestess card. I don't know why. I've never really dived into it. Um, because the High Priestess is what, like something happening behind the surface. Um, I don't know. I have to go into it a little bit more, but I've always resonated with the High Priestess first and the Magician second. Um, and I have to explore that a little bit more because that's just off the top of my head. Um, I I even took my printer, like my photo printer, and I printed off these little tiny High Priestess cards, and I put it near my altar in my bedroom. I did that a few years ago, and then I have a high priest. I have a pick deck, and it's a a familiars deck, and I took what's it? Is it a pick deck? I don't know. It's a black cat high priestess, and I have it on my altar to I would say be my death altar, right next to Bastet, and that's always been that. So I don't know how that relates to me, but that's just what I'm drawn to. So this question is making me want to research that a little bit more. All right, so the last question, question 10. What wisdom would your inner witch whisper to the collective if they could speak? Oh, uh, I don't know. Whisper to the collective. Uh, I mean, I know in my life it's um, there's a reason for everything. I've I've always I've always felt that, and with a lot of what's going on in the world today, um, I would say just patience, because it's all going to work out, because everything happens for a reason, and it's always going to lead you to better places. Um, so be patient, stay calm, watch your triggers. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine because everything happens for a reason. And something bad, like a massive car accident, can completely change your life. So at that moment, it feels horrible and that you have no control, but it's still going to be fine. Just focus on this, and don't worry about the noise. And I'm saying this from somebody who's like deep in the thick of like all this politics stuff right now. It's hard not to pay attention to the noise, especially when in times like these, when you have to pay attention to some of it, and not lose yourself. Um, But what has gotten me through, and I've told things, is paying attention to politics has helped me get through, because I can separate and see, like, come from a 5D perspective, and be able to look at things and watch the things that need to happen for other things to happen. So I would probably say, just wait. Patience. Check yourself. It'll be fine. Everything happens for a reason. There is an intelligent design happening at every moment of every day. Yeah, that's be my 10 questions. All right, so my cards. Let me just tell you, it was weird. I'm sorry if the camera is jumping. You're on my little Reiki bench that is a little wobbly. So, um, okay, tarot spread. This is a little weird. This has got a little weird. But some of it makes a lot of sense. So first question is the root, where the witch in me comes from. Ancestral or past, ancestral or past life thread. I never knew, I don't know this, logically, but I got the Knight of Cups. That's where the witch in me comes. And I was sitting there trying to figure, I'm like, what? Knight of Cups, Knight of Cups, Knight of Cups. So I looked at the Knight of Cups. Let me just get, and some of you guys are already saying, oh my gosh, I know what that is. I know what that I didn't know. But the thing, here's what, I'm using the Crow deck, just so you know. I love this deck. This is like my absolute favorite tarot deck. I resonate with it. I feel connected to it. That's the deck I'm using. So I got there you can see it. There you go. The Knight of Cups. Beautiful cards. So it says, the Knight of Cups is a calm, healthy, and regal crow. He does not charge alongside his horse, but instead he has mastered the skill of harnessing the energy needed to deliver his message calmly. The flowers that decorate his horse and the fish that make a pattern in the sky symbolize the knight's gifts of creativity and intuition. He is a dreamy bird who can quickly sweep you off your feet. However, there is a tendency for the knight in shining armor to get wrapped up in his dreams. He's often unable to follow through with his plans. The Knight of Cups may enter your life as a creative thinker who will help you with a project. He may appear in your dreams or thoughts as ideas that pop into your head. Pay attention to the message this royal messenger delivers. So, I'm thinking that I want, and a couple of the cards back this up. I'm thinking I created this path. I mean, we all choose our path before we come here. So I'm thinking that maybe, like I said earlier, I don't know if I have any witches in my ancestral line. I don't know. Because if I did, they were very hidden. Either they were hidden by others or hidden by themselves. But I do know that as far as past lives are concerned, I am an explorer. I like to experience new things, and every life I've had was a different experience that I wanted to have. So I very well may have decided, because I had a couple past lives as witches, that I wanted to try a different type of witch. So I kind of created my life to be this way. If that makes any sense. That makes any sense. Now, the second card is the flame. What ignites my magic today? And this was really cool. At first I didn't know what it was, but it is the Two of Wands. And when I read this, I was like, oh, okay. I think it's because I I wanted to create balance, and I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Let's read, and you guys can tell me in the comments what you think. So it is the Two of Wands. The crows holding the wands do so with patience and balance. It takes skill and strength to maintain the world. When the wands come together, they create a spark that sets an idea in motion, one that has the power to create a path to success. These birds bring opportunities for travel as well as the need to make life-changing decisions. Each journey offers a possibility of new experience. So, yeah. Feeling it's all about balance and experience. It's oh, come on. My phone just closed. But I thought that was pretty interesting. I really thought that was pretty interesting. And it's a very cool card too. Look, it's got the world up there. I just think that's, yeah, balance. Balance to the world. All right, so number 3, the Tool. A skill and urban ally I naturally work with. So since I'm using all the same deck, I got for this one, I got the Seven of Pentacles. So I'm like, okay, well, let's first look at the picture. Now, it looks like a birch tree. I'm not connected to the birch. I love birch trees, don't get me wrong. But I don't feel called to work with them. So what I did is I did a little search to locate any herbal correspondences for the Seven of Pentacles. And lo and behold, I found rosemary. So there you go. That's an ally. There was also basil and I can't remember the other one, but rosemary is the one that hit the best. So that kind of makes sense that the Seven of Pentacles, if it is if rosemary is one of the things, then that would be one of the allies that I like to work with. And I do. I've made sprays for my hair, for rugs, for anything. I use it to help with fleas. I love it. I love it. And I love the smell. I love the smell. So yeah. So that is the Tool that I naturally work with. Number 4. This was weird. This was weird. But it kind of makes sense. The Shadow. A fear, wound, or limitations that shape my path. Guess what I got? The Devil. Is that not perfect? I mean, I low self-esteem, self-sabotage. Yeah. This is why I'm 55 and I'm just figuring out who I want to be when I grow up. So that is shaped. It shapes my path my whole life. And it is the reason why I am doing what I'm doing now, because I want to escape my own bondage. Yeah, I thought, I was like, holy crap. Especially for that question, the shadow. You can't make this stuff up. All right, this next one. Card number 5. The Gift. This shocked me too. I got another really, like, weird card when I pulled this. But then I read it. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, that makes sense. So, number 5, the 5th card is The Gift. What my witch self brings to others. Okay, so I was like, I mean, I don't consider it a bad card, um, but I see it as like a card foreshadowing like some type of thing. So I was like, what? I don't know. So I looked it up, and what came to me was my own life experiences. Um, because as I read, it said, the crow watches his partner fly away. The three swords puncturing the heart represent the pair of crows and the issue that resulted in the separation. The Three of Swords represents a time of sadness and loss. However, without sorrow, we would never understand true happiness, and without loss, we would never appreciate all we have. There is no avoiding the sadness indicated by the Three of Swords, but the situation also offers a valuable life lesson, one that is essential for growth. This card asks that you take steps to learn how to heal your heart and your soul. When I read that, I was like, oh, because I can't even tell you how many times I've come across somebody, whether it be a past client or a friend, where the only way for me to help them and serve them um, is by sharing an experience that I've had. Now, I haven't had a horrible life, but I've had a life full of contrast. I have seen highs and lows. I've had trauma. I've been bullied. I've had situations where like I wasn't sure how I was going to make it out alive. I've had major health issues that put me in the hospital. I almost died when I was 25. Or yeah, 25. And it, there's just so many things that have come into my life over the years since I was a little kid, and then I have been able to pull from that vast, I guess, bucket of experiences to help other people. So that's what I'm thinking, that my life full of contrast is my gift, so I can help others and I can serve others, um, in a way that maybe somebody who did not have the same experiences would be able to. If that makes any sense. Um, so I actually kind of don't mind that. I don't mind that being my gift. You know, at first I was like, oh, Three of Swords. But then I read it and I was like, oh, that makes sense. All right, so we have two more cards. Number 6, how others perceive the witch in me. And these last two cards, I was very, very, very grateful to get, because I got the Knight of Pentacles. And when I read the book, I realized that, yeah, it made sense, because the one thing that it read, it says at the very last sentence, I'll read the whole thing, but the very last sentence, the Knight of Pentacles sits upon his workhorse ready to take on the next task. He has seen the page's dream and focused visualization, and now through hard work and determination he will set the vision into motion as it enters the path to fruition. The Knight of Pentacles is slow-moving and methodical. He is a hard worker who will ensure that each task is completed successfully before starting a new one. That's not me, but I digress. The Knight of Pentacles may appear as a co-worker or business partner who will keep his word and as a result become instrumental in ensuring the success of a project. When I read that, I am loyal to a fault. Like, to a fault. I am loyal to people that don't even. I can say I have my childhood best friend. We don't talk, and it's because I stopped reaching out after 40 years or 43 years. Um, I was the loyal one, and it was almost like it didn't matter. But I was gonna always be there, and she could always count on me, but I couldn't always count on her. And it took me 43 years to realize that that relationship probably was not, even though we never had fights, we didn't have a bad relationship. It was more one person was pulling away, disassociated with me, and then I was like all in and always there for her and everything. And then I stopped one day, and that was the last time I talked to her. So that's kind of the type of person I am. If you are kind to me, and if you are my friend, I will be loyal to you until the end of a relationship. There will never be that's who I am. I'm just I'm just one of those steady on kind of friends. I will always be there. So that's what I think that came through. Um, this is my mirror, because this is who I am. I'm loyal to a fault. I will be the steady, consistent person in somebody's life if you want me to be. And even if you don't want me to be, I will still, in my own little bubble, still be loyal to you. It is what it is. I'm trying to change that, because that can be almost too um, that could be kind of hurtful in a way to my own energy, and it was very, very hurtful to me. But I pulled myself out of it, and I'm working on trying not to do that. But I can't not be loyal, and that steady person in somebody's life. Like I'm gonna be there. I mean, I still talk to people that I knew when I was 4. All right, the last card is the legacy. What the witch in me is here to leave behind. And I was really excited when I pulled this card. The King of Pentacles. I mean, what better legacy can you leave behind? I mean, I don't know. I will read lots of pentacles in this reading, but um, it would be hard. It would be hard for life to get any better for the King Crow. His savvy skills earned him an abundance of riches, and he lives a most luxurious lifestyle. His heart is pure gold, and with wings outstretched, he shares all that he has accumulated, from material possessions to his acquired knowledge. He is always ready to help those around him reach their potential. The King of Pentacles brings the message to live a life of determination, grace, and a good heart. In doing so, you too will find yourself living an abundant life. Come on. If I can do that, if that can be my legacy, then that's a life well lived in my eyes. That's a life well lived. So that is my very long video of the Witch in Me tag, created by Celina, of the essence of the moon. And I really enjoyed this one because it kind of helped me see a little bit into myself and helped me ponder. And it also helped me learn a little bit more about the cards, especially, learning some, correspondences to the Seven of Pentacles. And then also seeing the Devil card and the Three of Swords in a different light. Yeah, it was very cool. It was very cool. I'm really much enjoying these tarot tags, and I look forward to doing more. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it wasn't too rambly. But yeah, that's it. That's my tag. That's the Witch in Me tag. So I'm probably going to do another tag after this. So if I'm wearing the same clothes, I'm batch recording. Anyway, so I didn't say it the last few videos, but I'm going to leave you with my the thing I say at the end of every one of my radio shows is to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, walk in love and light, and of course, don't forget music. And I will see you in the next video.